Imagine this. You wake up, check your phone, and find out your entire industry is shifting. Mass layoffs, business cutting costs, entire companies restructuring. If you've been paying attention, you already noticed that change has been happening at a rate we've never seen before. The new administration is making budget cuts, shifting policies, tweaking tariffs, you name it. One department gets funding, another one gets slashed and bites the dust. And Trump, I doubt he barely gets a full 8 hours of sleep. Meanwhile, AI is exploding. Tech companies are in a race to build it, while governments are rushing to regulate it to avoid it taking over whole industries. We're never going back to pre-AI days. Do you adapt or do you get left behind? Today, we are breaking down a book that explains why people struggle with change. It's called Who Moved My Cheese, written in 1998. And I swear, this book predicted everything that we are seeing today. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, we are going to learn why people resist change and how this ruins their future, the 4 types of people when forced with uncertainty, how to stop getting wrecked by change and actually thrive when things shift. Listen, I wasn't always a fan of this book. Now, back in high school, every kid would not stop rambling about this book. I hated it. All the cool kids were like, have you read Who Moved My Cheese? And in my mind, I was like, who cares? You don't even like cheese. Why are you talking about a book just because it has a cheese cover? Like, stop. I thought that the title was corny. I thought the cover was a little bit too bright and basic. And the hype of the book was unnecessarily overwhelming. I had a love-hate relationship with this book even before I read it. And when I eventually read it, it wasn't that bad. Fast forward years later, I finally picked up this book again. And now, I get it. Let's break it down. Alright, Who Moved My Cheese is basically a life's metaphor for success, careers, relationship, and goals. This story takes place in a maze where 4 characters are chasing or searching for cheese, which represents financial success, relationships, and careers, or whatever you want to chase in life. Here's what's interesting. Now, the author, Spencer, did not only create people. He split them into 2 groups. First is the simple instincts, the mice, sniff and scurry. They don't overthink, they simply move with the times. They just act. But when they find cheese, they enjoy it. When cheese disappears, they immediately begin looking for new cheese. And then number 2, the complex thinkers. These are the small humans. They're called hem and haw. Unlike mice, they analyze everything. They form attachments to their cheese, and when the cheese disappears, they don't immediately begin looking for new pastures. They panic instead of adapting. This is the key. Both personas exist in all of us. Some days, you're sniff and scurry whereby you see change and you act accordingly. And some days, you're hem and haw. You overthink and analyze and don't do anything about anything. You just sit back and wish things were not the way they were. Now, the big question is, which part of you do you listen to? Let's see what happens when the cheese gets taken away. All 4 characters find cheese in Station C. Now, Station C has a massive stash of cheese. They sit, enjoy, eating, making merry. It's beautiful. They find stability. But Sniff and Scurry, they eat and enjoy too, but they stay alert. They notice the stash of cheese shrinking little by little every day. On the other hand, Hem and Haw, they get comfortable. They assume that the cheese will always be there. And then one morning, boom, the cheese is gone. Now, Sniff and Scurry, having been paying attention and noticing the patterns, they notice that they themselves finished the cheese. And when the cheese is gone, they act immediately. They're not surprised. They head back into the maze to find more cheese. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, they panic. They go through all the human classic reactions. This isn't fair. Who took our cheese? It has to come back, right? We've been enjoying it for too long for anything to change. Sounds familiar? We're getting the same reaction of these people today. People are losing jobs to AI left, right, and center, and they are saying, this is unfair, instead of trying to learn new skills. Companies refusing to innovate for years, thinking, this is what made us successful. We've always been successful, and they don't change anything or innovate. Industries getting disrupted by the new government or administration. Instead of adapting, they fight. Regulations battle for things to stay the same. Meanwhile, the world keeps on moving forward. And this is exactly where most people get stuck. When Sniff and Scurry are already miles away, Hem and Haw sit there complaining. And then Haw suggests, maybe we should go look for new cheese, because I'm starving. But Hem refuses. He says, no, I want my cheese back. I don't deserve this. And weeks keep passing. They keep starving. Finally, Ha is like, man, if we don't move, we're gonna die. I'm gonna get going. I can't with this situation. So he makes a choice. And for the first time, he steps into the unknown. And of course, at first, the maze is terrifying. But the more he moves, the stronger he feels. He starts writing messages on the wall, probably for his friend if he decides to ever follow. And the messages read, if you don't change, you can become extinct. Another one reads, what would you do if you were not afraid? And another one reads, when you move beyond your fear, you feel free. Eventually, he finds a new station, Station N. And Station N, full of fresh cheese, new cheese. And guess who's already there? Sniff and Scurry. Meanwhile, Hem is sitting back at Station C, starving, not wanting to move or make a change, waiting for things to go back to normal. And this is what separates people who adapt and people who get left behind. Ha does a nice friendly thing, which is to go back with new cheese to give his friend. But you know what? His friend Hem refuses. He says,
I don't like new cheese.
I want my old cheese back. And at this point, the world has moved on. And this is what's happening in the world today. Tech companies are not waiting for permission to innovate. And AI isn't waiting for you and I to catch up. Governments aren't waiting to change policies. In fact, they're changing them every single day. If you're still holding on to the past, you will get left behind. But here's the good news. You don't have to be Ha. You don't have to be stuck like Ha. Even in the book, Ha learns his lesson, moves on and joins the party. His journey shows us that no matter how hard it is to adapt, it is possible for you to uproot yourself from the situation and change. Maybe, like me, you're feeling overwhelmed because the world is moving very fast. Maybe you're waiting for things to go back to normal, and maybe you're just hesitant in general about anything new. Always remember that new cheese is out there. Keep seeking new opportunities to grow and to learn. Learn new skills, make yourself better, and the sooner you start moving, you will get closer and closer to your Station N, which is full of new fresh cheese. Here's a challenge. What cheese have you been clinging on to in your life? Let me know in the comment section below. If you liked this book review, let me know in the comment section below on what I can improve and what to talk about. And if you like this book review, you'll probably like this law as well that I did a while back. Thanks so much for watching. And let's keep climbing that mountain of growth. See you next time.